Hi Cancer. Last but not least, a beautiful reading for our beautiful. So this month opens up with a lot of energy to really move on or move forward from things that I usually like to say move from instead of move on, because moving on doesn't mean you're moving forward. It doesn't mean you're moving through. It doesn't mean you're moving from somewhere. It could just mean you're running away or sideways. But there's something you're moving through and you have the energy to move through now. You may have waited a while to move through it, but here you are, being given the opportunity to realize that the horizon is much brighter now. That with Venus in your sign, you may be experiencing a lot of interesting interactions in any relationship, especially your most intimate relationships. You may feel attracted to the divine more, to source, God, the universe. You may feel more attracted to how you do things and understanding how things just happen for you and why some things don't. There's a deeper understanding of yourself in a way where you can see so clearly in others, but now you're able to be very honest with yourself about it in a very Gemini style. Or you're strengthening or renewing a relationship with a possible Gemini. This could also be about your breathing and your breath, because Gemini has to do with the lungs, the two lungs. So you might feel like this is causing you to breathe even better. You might feel like you can hold more within you and you're not attached to it as much. You're letting go of what you're breathing out, letting go of whatever is not necessary. There's so much chance for renewal and support and anything that you love or deeply care about. With Mercury and Virgo, you find that you're even maybe intensely thinking about it to an extent, or healing those things. And alternatively, it brings you freedom. It brings you freedom from the attachment even to the divine, or the attachment to anything that makes you feel held down or like you're not in control of yourself. You realize something important about what has had control over you, or a person or their way of life, a dominating figure. However, you also find what sometimes we don't realize is what we see in others and what can trigger us is what we need to realize in ourselves. And it comes at you with such clarity that you can't be mad at it. You're almost like, holy shit, like I'm ready to hear it, I'm ready to feel it, I'm ready to understand it. Whatever is hitting you is being very clear, very direct, and giving you not only the wand, but the sword, giving you the opportunity to break free from what you've been working so hard on. It felt like more work because of what you were holding on to, or what type of person that you're holding yourself to be, or a type of people in your life you're holding them to be. And now you have like the external and internal strength to see for yourself, see what's important to you, what's actually important to the relationships around you, the people around you, see what is necessary with the people around you, to see and feel the strength to feel that restraint. And then you get that realization almost immediately, like, okay, I didn't do this the way I used to. However, now I'm experiencing something major, very revelatory, and it's expanding again your capacity for the depth of breath, the depth of feeling. And you may feel lighter in these areas of your body, possibly your lungs, and if you felt any grief, because this could also be about grief too. You're experiencing the other side of grief finally, if you've been grieving something or someone in your life. And if you haven't, I'm sorry, I understand. It is everything that we do is a unique process. However, the beautiful thing about humans is that we all experience the same feelings, and you're beginning to relate also with people that you really want to be around. Again, the people that really understand you, who know that through grief you need to be able to laugh too. And there could be a Sagittarius in your life who is easy. Sorry, my throat's itchy. Who's easy to talk to, or has done it themselves, and you kind of take notice and take the hint and you utilize it. There's not so much that they can say, but what they can show you. Ultimately, that's all they can do is show you. So whatever you thought you needed to work hard on is now you're having the strength to put it down. You're having the strength to realize what's being shown to you. What was just all in your ego, perhaps. This month is very straightforward with that. Whatever, even if it was on the material plane or in the ethereal, you're being shown where your ego was overpowering and you were doing so much work just to compensate for your ego and for the parts where you really wanted control, but you sincerely can't. And you get to decide between that or really building the life that you want, what the Ten of Pentacles means to you, how that can be the long road ahead. But you don't want to be fighting yourself along the way. You don't want to be self-sabotaging yourself along the way. You need to speak up about things, and quickly you hear life around you with a resounding yes. When Venus enters Leo on the 11th, and then Mars enters Gemini on the 20th, in that time you'll have a huge chance to really shift all of that. Lots of energy to shift all of that, to really allow that light to burn through and just rid yourself of whatever is been weighing you down, because you need to be able to trust even more and deeply in the people that you work with or love and the people around you, and you do, but there's like a deeper sense of connection that's possible this month. And it's not something you can control. It's just going to happen in a time where you're maybe even unexpecting. Because the more that you let go of this part of you that doesn't make sense to you anymore, the more that you show restraint for yourself and for what's been given to you, you don't need to blow it out of proportion. You can have this continuous burning that can happen. And there could be a Leo in your life that is showing you also how to do that, or gives you some advice, or says something very direct and clear, maybe about their own experience, and it could be due to a Aries. It's very much connected also to your sexual organs and your muscular system. If something, and I'm reading this book, and I read a book by David Hawkins before, but it's very much about muscle testing. If you're feeling weak, like actually in the body weak, and you can muscle test yourself, then you need to let go and surrender to what's happening. You need to let yourself be triggered and feel it and move on and move forward. Not on, move from that place differently. Because it could be that your sexual organs, your creativity, that power is not in balance, and it could come out through the body. So Leo rules the heart and the back, so right at the, it could be anywhere on your back. And then we have the head, the muscular system, and the sex organs here, and then we have the hips and the thighs here, and the lungs here. So all of those places, so these are twos, and then we have the muscular system, which is everything. So if you find yourself holding on, you'll actually feel stiff. You can feel stiff, and if you don't know what it's like not to do that, you'll have a sense of understanding this month, because whatever's being held on to in those areas, so much is going to open up the more that you exhale and let go. And you might need to also put a couple people in their place, but that's a part of the process. Sometimes saying something is important, especially if these people you want in your life, these people you are who you love. It doesn't mean that they're going to respond in the way that you want them to. They could find it's like telling or talking to someone who's been used to, or an addict who's used to getting something just to make themselves feel better, used to a part of you that makes themselves feel better. And it's really important that when we need to put up boundaries, like Leos know how to do, that we don't give a shit about the way that they feel. The way that they feel is their responsibility, and when they'll learn to understand where you're coming from at this time, because you need time to yourself. You need to protect your energy. It's very similar to Libra in that way this month. And you're doing it to strengthen yourself, your security, whatever you're building in your life, the job that you have, whatever it is that you can actually control, including your responses, is what's important, because you'll have some decisions to come to for that will affect you long term by the end of the month. And you'll notice that this will all begin to come to a height by the 11th, around the 11th, and towards the end of this season when Mars goes into Gemini. You'll find that you'll have the words, and you'll understand why it was important for you to let go, because that may want to bring you in many different directions. And it's important for you not to be too attached. You maybe live a little more like a Sagittarius, a mutable sign this month. Okay? You could have the things that you feel comfortable with as too, but make sure you treat yourself to those things. You don't completely deprive yourself. There's no fun in that either. So, yeah, Cancer, so much. And we'll see you next month.